Hello, St. Peter's. Welcome back for another fun storytime adventure. We are in the library and it is so sunny and getting warm outside, but we're still going to read some books about winter because we're not out of the woods yet. We're just going to enjoy the day. On a day like this, when we still have quite a bit of snow because we got so much and it's kind of melting, you can really pack with it and play with it, and you don't get too cold because it's almost 50 degrees outside. So go enjoy that snow. I'm going to show you how at the end of our story. I have a little activity for you to do with the rest of that snow, okay? But first, let's hear our story. My friends are here and they're very excited. We have Ralph, Magic Monkey, Daisy, and our Pig of Joy, of course, with our Jar of Joy, so that we can spread some joy when we're all finished. All right, let's get right to our book so we can have some more fun in the snow. This story is called Wintercake. It's sometimes after you've been playing outside or even playing inside for a long time, it's nice just to sit back and listen to a story. And this book I love. It's such an adventure, and it's going to teach us actually some new vocabulary words, some words you may never have heard. Wintercake by Lynne Perkins. Ready? Now, right off the bat, I told the boys and girls, you need to look at the title page. Usually it's just a picture that's kind of goes with the story. This time it's telling the beginning of the story. So what we see here is Bear, and look what he's doing, catching snowflakes on his tongue. How fun is that? And he also has a basket down here of some things he's been gathering. You'll find out what that is very soon. So that title page is kind of important to the beginning of our story. The next page shows his friend flying in what looks like a swirling, snowy, windy, blustery storm. Looks like wintertime for sure. Okay, here we go. Here's Bear. Oh, where can it be? Thought Thomas. Maybe I left it outside. Searching and searching, he looked in the tall grasses and he walked around the house. I wonder what he's looking for.
What are you looking for, Thomas? Asked Lucy. Have you lost something?
Yes, said Thomas. Yes, I have. Well, just this morning I fetched my fruits from my special fruit drying spot. Such a beautiful basket of dried up fruits. Apples, berries, and plums, apricots, grapes, and cherries. And now I can't find it. I must have set it down somewhere, but I've looked everywhere, twice. He looked around as if the basket of fruits might suddenly appear, but it didn't. Lucy looked around too.
How mysterious, she said.
Do you remember that basket? Yeah, that's the one we saw at the beginning when he was catching those snowflakes on his tongue.
Oh, I won't be able to make the winter cake, said Thomas. A winter's eve without winter cake, I ask you, what kind of holiday is that?
The holiday isn't only about winter cake, said Lucy.
I am bereft, said Thomas. Forlorn.
My, he is dramatic. What do you think those two words mean? He is bereft and forlorn. How is he feeling now that he lost his basket and can't make his winter cake? That's right, he's feeling very sad. So if you are feeling very, very sad, you are bereft and forlorn. Fancy words. Let's see what happens next. An icy blast lifted Lucy briefly from the ground.
Oh, I'd better get going, Thomas, she said. It's starting to bluster. But don't be sad. We'll have a wonderful holiday. We always do.
Starting to bluster. That means a very strong wind is coming.
Oh, I don't see how, Thomas called out as she flew away. I honestly don't, he said to himself. Perhaps I should have invited her inside, he added, as the winds grew stronger and snowier. Fly safely, he said softly. He knew she could no longer hear him, but he hoped it would help. Worried, he stepped into his tree and shut the door. And she flew away and said,
I hope you find your fruits.
Oh my goodness, look at her path. It is ziggy and ziggity and zaggity, round and around. It must be so windy that she cannot fly in a straight line. Poor Lucy. Here she goes. The gentle snowfall had thickened into a storm. Lucy flew into snowflakes the size of her face, and there were so many of them. She struggled to stay upright as frigid gusts tossed her this way and that. Oh, what did it matter that she could barely keep her eyes open? All she could see was white. It's a blizzard. Was she even moving forward? She flapped her wings harder and then, thwump. Oh no, she fell to the ground. Poor Lucy. Lucy lay there, stunned. For a moment, she could not move. Heavy flakes of wet snow piled up on her. She knew it would not be long before they covered her up completely. Oh no, she won't be able to fly. I'm scared for her. With a mighty effort, she struggled to her feet and leaned into the fierce winds. Amid the pelting snow, there were fragrant whiffs of something else. Something friendly. Look what she sees, a sign. Tea, she said aloud. Cocoa and pastries. She listened and heard the faint, muffled buzz of cheery voices. Following the fragrant whiffs and the faint murmurs, she hopped through the blizzard to an opening between the snow-laden boughs of an evergreen. The boughs, that's another name for the branches of an evergreen. She found herself at the door of a tea room. I'll just stop in, she said to herself, and wait for the storm to pass. I think that's a very good idea. Whoa, look at everybody inside, all trying to keep warm. Inside the tea room, everyone was talking about the weather. Well, almost everyone. So we have a bunch of conversations. They're all going on at once, like when you're in a crowded restaurant. We have some bunnies down here, and they're saying, snowy weather puts me in the mood for the holiday. Oh, it's holiday weather, that's for sure. And then the mice down here, I have never seen so much weather. And then we have a mole and a squirrel. I'm thinking of hibernating. It's so weathery. Oh, I don't hibernate. The owl says, whether there is weather or whether there is not. We have two squirrels telling a joke. He says, this weather is nuts, right? Oh, squirrels and their nuts, they're so silly. The waiter says, this weather is good for business. We have some raccoons. The weather makes me melancholy. That's kind of when you're remembering things, you might get a little bit sad. Remembering things or people that aren't here anymore. And the other raccoon says, oh, even with cake? But then Lucy's ears perked up at this one. Found me a nice basket of dried up fruits this morning. Perfect for Wintercake. A basket of dried fruits he found? Do you think those could be her friend Thomas's fruits? I think they might be too. Let's see what happens.
Lucy turned and saw a tall, sleek animal with small, round ears speaking to the server as he paid his bill. He held a basket filled with beautiful, dried-up fruits, apples, berries, and plums, apricots, grapes, and cherries. She couldn't hear all of what he said. It was so noisy, but she heard enough. Hastily, she paid for her tea and biscuit and hurried after the vile beast. So if she thinks he's a vile beast, that means kind of disgusting and mean. Because this is what she heard. All these people are still talking about the weather. I don't mind the weather, but the tea is nice. There's always weather, just different kinds of it. Well, she overhears while all these other animals are talking. Here's what she hears him say. Any idea who it might belong to? Tell me where he... Oh, I'll just take it myself then. Kind of what she heard makes it sound like he's just going to keep it because he doesn't know who it belongs to. Let's see what happens. Outside, the storm had ended as quickly as it had began. He turns and says, I feel as if someone is following me. And she turns around and starts singing so he doesn't notice her. And she says, there it is, Thomas's dried up fruit. Already, the winter sun was turning the top of the snow crisp and sparkly. And she says, I don't know what I'll do, but I must do something. And he says, I must be imagining it. He's not imagining it. She really is following him. Where's he going to go? Let's see. But wait, what was this? The good-for-nothing fruit thief was knocking on a door. Thomas's door. The door opened, and Thomas stood in the doorway. I think this may be yours, said the scoundrel. I found it in the meadow. Someone at the tea room told me where to find you. Oh, my, said Thomas. Oh, thank you so much. My pleasure, said the stranger. A holiday without Wintercake is a poor one indeed. Good afternoon, then. The stranger turned and walked away, whistling a cheery tune. As he passed the bush where Lucy sat, he glanced up absent-mindedly and said, Lovely day, what? Lucy managed to close her beak. Then she opened it and said, Yes, isn't it? And he thinks, so many cardinals about today. Well, that's because Lucy was following him the whole time. The same cardinal. Here we are at Thomas's. Lucy fluttered down and pecked at Thomas's door. So many visitors, he said when he opened it. What a spectacular day this is. I am jubilant, extra happy. Jubilant, there's a new word. It means extra happy. Lucy hopped inside. She told him her tale. I feel foolish, she said. I jumped to conclusions. Oh, everyone makes mistakes, said Thomas. I feel foolish, too. I remember now that I set my basket down to catch snowflakes on my tongue. The first snowflakes of the season are the most scrumptious. I guess I forgot to pick it back up. Thomas smiled. How kind of him, though, he said. What a noble chap. Yes, said Lucy. Let's make him a Wintercake, said Thomas. Yes, said Lucy. Let's. That sounds nice. So, they chopped, they sifted, they measured, they poured, and they stirred. They almost forgot the walnuts. More chopping, more stirring. They popped the pan into the oven and set the timer. While the cake baked, they sang songs and gossiped. The winter cake, when it came out, was a beauty, golden brown with bits of color like jewels. Oh, it smelled divine. I would like to try some winter cake, wouldn't you? There it is. Look at that. Thomas drizzled the white icing over it, like snow on a lumpy hillside. He lifted it onto the pretty plate,
and tied a ribbon around it.
I've thought of
something, said Lucy.
What? Said Thomas.
Well, we don't know where this guy lives, said Lucy. We don't even know his name.
Said Thomas. That's true. Well, the two friends looked at one another. They looked at the Wintercake on its plate with its ribbon. They looked down at their shadows, blue shapes on the snow. A trail of crispy footprints led from where they stood, away through the forest.
That's it, cried Lucy. We can follow his footprints.
Yes, said Thomas, off we go. And off they went. At first, it was easy, just following the footprints. But soon there were obstacles, like giant snow mounds, and difficulties. Oh, he's trying to cross the river. He says, I am stout but nimble, I hope. Well, stout means a little bit fat, and nimble means that he's able to move quickly and gracefully. So he hopes he can be graceful to hop across without dropping that cake. There were icy streams and tangled thickets. Daylight dwindled. So they had to cross this stream. Here's a big fish down here. And look, he's floating on his back with a cake on his tummy. And Lucy asks,
How are you doing? You're almost to shore.
And he says, I'm buoyant, but only for a while.
Buoyant means being able to float. So he's hoping he can float long enough to get across. I think he can do it. Oh, then they're in the thicket, where it's a bramble of trees and branches and prickers, all kinds of things. And Lucy says,
Our friend must be an agile fellow.
Agile. It's kind of like nimble, where you can move quickly and carefully through things without losing your balance.
He's certainly slender.
Slender means thin. All right, so they're following this crazy path when, in the murky twilight, Thomas and Lucy did not see the precipice, the edge of the cliff. Oh no! Thomas fell down and bounced. The pretty plate was broken, but the Wintercake was not.
It's a sturdy Wintercake, a resilient Wintercake.
It must have bounced on a pointy rock.
Still, it was cold and dark, and they were far from home, lost perhaps.
Maybe it was a mistake to travel so far.
It's a bit farther than I thought it would be.
Oh no, do you think they'll be able to find their way? I hope so too. The shivering friends huddled together for warmth.
Thomas,
said Lucy,
I see a light.
Is it the light of heaven?
asked Thomas.
No,
said Lucy.
Well, maybe, sort of. I think it's from a candle or a small fire. Look.
Look at that. Little bit of light in the darkness. Thomas looked, and sure enough, a faint glow shone from a crevice in the darkness. Cautiously, they crept toward it. As they drew near, they heard humming. They arrived at the opening of a hollow in the bank. They peered inside. And there he was. He sat alone next to a stub of burning cattail. So cattails are like reeds that grow near ponds and rivers. Not real cattails. It's a plant. He hummed furiously and festively. Then abruptly, he stopped. It's no use, he said. Hum as I might, it's winter's eve and I am all alone. I ask you, what kind of holiday is that? Lucy stepped inside the hollow.
But you're not alone, she said.
Gah! Shrieked the poor fellow, jumping to his feet. Gah! Squawked Lucy, hiding her head under her wing. Gah! Bellowed Thomas, flinging the Wintercake into the air. Oh no! It fell to the ground, and this time it broke. We come in peace, said Thomas, bearing Wintercake, which is in pieces. Ha! Peace, pieces, get it? Oh, Thomas. Oh, said the flustered stranger, it's you, and you. Oh me, oh my, come in, come in. Would you like some? He looked around the bare, dismal hollow. I'm afraid there isn't anything, he said. I've only just moved in. There's Wintercake, said Thomas, picking up the pieces. He's picking it up and says, it's only a cake after all. There's light, there's you, and there's us. What more do we need? Let's build the fire up a bit, though, said Lucy. Oh, this could be good. They stepped outside and gathered sticks for a fire. Soon it burned merrily, warming them as they sat in its golden glow. Bear says, oh, an excellent Wintercake, stupendous. We've traveled a long way to find you, said Thomas. How ever did you come to be in our neck of the woods? And how did you come to be here? Also, what is your name? Their host laughed. I'm Tobin, he said, and it all started with a mistake. Oh, so many good things do, said Lucy. Tell us yours. Outside the hollow, snow was falling again. Inside, a friendship was being born. Tobin's story was the first of many told that night, and for years and holidays to come. The three friends made a tradition of taking their Wintercake to a bare hollow and telling stories around a merry fire. I ask you, what kind of holiday is that? A jubilant one, you might say. Extra happy. A little bit mysterious. A wonderful holiday every time. The end. Wasn't that a great adventure with their Wintercake and their fruits and the stranger they never met? They were really kind and generous to go travel all that way for someone they didn't even know. But since he had been so kind to them, they wanted to repay him. And it actually ended up being a really good thing because he would have been all alone on their special Winter's Eve holiday. That would have been sad. So now they always have someone to celebrate with every year, all because of the Wintercake. So that gave me an idea. We can't bake a cake here. You could bake a cake at home, which would be amazing. So that's one idea. You could bake your own cake. But some people aren't bakers. And maybe today it's more tempting to go play outside instead of staying inside. So maybe you could bake on the weekend. Today, how about we make a Wintercake with some snow? Now, I brought my snow inside, remember, because I was going to do it outside, but it's so windy, it probably would have blown my camera right away. So that would not have been great. So how about we make a Wintercake with our leftover snow and other things in nature that we can find around the area. So I'm going to do mine in this tub. Actually, I have a bucket I can put this on. So watch how I do this with now all I have today, so I put a bunch of snow in these cups, but I was thinking, I put extra in because I didn't want it all to melt. So I was thinking, and now it's getting kind of melty and smushy. Ooh, it's so fun. So you put it in your cup. I'm trying to break it up. And you smush it in. I can smush some more. This is really good for making a snowman. It's really good for having a snowball fight or even building a fort. Now, I'm going to build it
or I'm going to push it all in my cup. Then watch what happens. Here's how I'm going to make my cake. I'm going to tip it over and take the cup off. I actually might turn it this way. Here's my special winter cake. But guess what's even cooler? I have some more snow. And remember when we did our things last week where we put some colored water outside in different shapes to freeze them? Well, we have a little bit of the color left. Everything thawed. It did freeze and then they thawed again. So some of the kids poured them out today. You know, I heard that Joseph made a snow creation in a hat so he could see how that would work. That was a great idea. So now I put my two, it melts so fast, it sticks together so well. Look at that. I put them together already. So there's my cake. Now we're going to decorate it. How about I use some sticks I found outside. This is going to be like a special decoration for my yard. I could put it on my stoop, on my front porch. I could put it in the front yard so everyone going by can see. I could put it near, there we go, my mailbox so the mailman could see it. And then I gathered some rocks, which is kind of neat. I'm just going to decorate and stick them all in there. So it's kind of like they had all their fruit in theirs. I'm going to put rocks in mine. It sticks in there so nicely. Don't worry, I'll hold it up in a minute. And then I found some leaves. Let's put some leaves in there. We haven't been able to do a nature project in a really long time. So I thought since it's so nice outside, and it's going to be for a couple days, and I think everyone will at least have a few snow mounds that they can go dig some snow out, you'll be able to make some really cool creations. So this is my winter cake presenting the amazing winter cake. So I could go outside, set that in a special place, and see what happens. When it will stay warm for a couple days. So as the snow melts, it may all of a sudden you might find all of the things that you used to decorate it will all of a sudden be on the ground. But that's okay. It's just a fun activity to do in the snow. Decorate, build it up. You can put it in a form. I just use a simple cup. You can use anything you have, bowls, but it packs so nicely, you might just pick up the snow and form it with your hands. See? This is a good snowball. I won't throw it at you. So, go adventuring, see what you can create with your leftover snow before it all melts away. We won't have too much more snow like we've had this winter, but we might get a little bit more. I say every opportunity we have, let's go out and play in that snow. All right, Joy, we made our winter cakes. We read our book. We're ready to spread some joy. I think she's ready too. So let's see. Ooh, you're really shaking that hard today, Joy. What we can do to spread some joy today. Oop, we did that one last time. We're going to do a different one. Oh my goodness, this is a good one. This says, call your grandparents. You know what would really be a good idea? If you make a winter cake out in the snow, maybe you could take a picture of it and you could text that picture to your grandparents with you making a silly face with your winter cake. That would be fun. And then you could call them and say, hey, did you get my picture? And they'll laugh and they'll be so happy. You'll brighten up their day. What a fun way to spread some joy. Well, I have had a lot of fun today. I hope you did too. Find some time. It's still sunny today. If you're watching this on another day, I'm telling you it's going to be nice for a little while. If you don't have any snow, maybe you could bake a cake inside. And if you can't bake a cake, you know what you can always do? You can always draw and color and decorate your own winter cake. Be a cake designer. That would be fun too. All right, boys and girls, go enjoy this weather. I hope you enjoyed our story. We'll be back again next Wednesday with another new story and fun activity. Until then, keep spreading your joy.